Well, good morning. How are you? This is Emily Windsor Craig, and it is Wednesday, the 26th of August, 2020. And I finally worked something out, got it organized up here, and I thought I'd share it with you so I don't forget it. Okay. All right. Many years ago, I grew up in wholesale dry cleaning, so I know fabrics. And then in the late 60s, I took a course in couturier tailoring. And I used to make all my clothes. I made suits and lined them. And I knitted sweaters and stoles and stuff. I did all of that. And I put that all aside, except for the 6 books of crochet patterns that I assembled because of my love for crochet. If you have a crochet hook and some twine, you can make anything. You can make your shoes, your hat, your purse, your underwear, your clothes, your coat. You can make anything with crochet. So I published those 6 crochet books. But lately, I've been kind of fascinated by a channel that's put up by Bernadette Banner. And she is quite proudly a witch. And oh my goodness. Okay, because I'm a Christian. I'm Anglican. And so I had to examine myself, what am I getting into here? This woman is a witch and she makes these dresses that are witchy. Oh, shocking. Okay. All right. And so I went back into the law and I found a whole bunch of scriptures and precepts against witchcraft in the scripture. It's under religious prostitution. You don't build an altar. You don't drink anybody's wine but your own. You don't prophesy in anybody's name. You destroy idols and materialistic claptrap. Okay. You do not sacrifice an embryo. You do not allow witchcraft to exist. You do not practice Nachesh, doing things based on signs and portents. You don't practice the art of a choverchaver, casting spells. Do not plant a tree for worship or in memory of a deceased. You do not set up a pillar. You do not settle idolaters in your community. Okay, those are the rules of the road. But you see, as a Christian, I'm not bound to all the rules of the road. There are a few other rules of the road that are in Judaism that I violate also. I eat milk and I have consume milk and meat together. Ever had pizza with pork sausage on it? Okay. All right. And quite often my clothing is made up of 2 different fibers. Okay, it's cotton poly, or it's wool poly, or it's, 2 different fibers together. You're not supposed to do that. And so I was having a little conversation with God about this. Like, whoa, okay. Now, am I supposed to follow all the law or just the parts of the law that have to do with relationships to people? And he pointed out to me that my history, my soul history going back, it began as a dragon, but then I was a witch. And that's why I was executed, burned at the stake, and run down by horses and torn apart by dogs. I mean, these are the things I remember from the past. But the reason I have the memories now is because Christianity accepts anybody into its fold, anybody at all. Jesus addressed the Samaritan woman. Jews were not allowed to talk to Samaritans. But Christians can talk to anybody. Okay. So it's fine for me to go back and review my garment industry dressmaking with a witch, even though she's a witch, an unabashed witch, and a very, very capable person. She does a lot more handwork than I'm comfortable with, but her technique has taken me back into, oh yeah, okay, it's just really, and I'm enjoying her channel very much. All right, so for Christians who are wondering about the Satanists and the witches that we encounter, we are free to talk, according to the covenant of grace, we are free to talk to anybody. We can talk to anybody. We can talk to Satanists. We can talk to Luciferians. We can find out what they're about. All right. But there's a game going on in the Satanist Luciferian loop that's really toxic. And there was an article in as a Jew, and he was, of course, was banned. And so one of the things that I do every once in a while when I run into this divide and conquer strategy that's labeled as anti-Semitism, I thought I'd explain how that plays out for me, okay, today. Because, you know, I grew up in a Zionist extended family. They were Zionists, but they were not religious at all. Religion was the opiate of the people. And they were backers of the Marxist, Fabian, Frankfurt School, Saul Alinsky method of seditious takedown of a government in order to replace that government with absolute rules, of maritime admiralty rules. All right. Now, in Judaism, you're not supposed to kill a fetus, so abortion is forbidden in Judaism. In Christianity, you can pretty much do anything that you pray about and have a reason for. All right. But divide and conquer is not a doctrine either in the law or in Christianity, in the Christian Beatitudes of Jesus. Divide and conquer isn't there, but anti-Semitism is a divide and conquer strategy, and here is how it works. The Semites are the descendants of Shem, the son of Noah, okay? Now, in Israel today is 41% Jews. That means they're observant, they read the Bible. There are Talmudic Jews, there are Torah Jews. The Talmudic Jews actually follow the Babylonian doctrines, okay, of usury, divide and conquer, and protection rackets. All right. Just as Shiite Islamists have taqiyya, jizya, and jihad. It's the same thing. And it's the same thing also in maritime admiralty corporate statutes, which create rules. The net effect is, okay, then has the same net effect. In corporate statutes, it's fraud, it's slavery, and it's anarchy. So there's common laws against harm, and then there's the tricky adjustments and compromises to enable slavery, usury, and divide and conquer. All right, so go back to anti-Semitism. 41% of Israelis are nominal Jews, some of which are Torah Jews, some of which are Talmud Jews. There are also Christians who are called Christian Zionists, and they attach to the Talmud Jews. All right, So when somebody says a person is anti-Semitic, they're playing a trick on you, because they're throwing all three kinds of Jews into one lump. And Jews aren't in one lump. Jews are in three lumps. Okay? And usually that anti-Semitism wisecrack will be coming from a Zionist, because Torah Jews are very sensitive about their behavior and effects of their behavior. And they know that anti-Semitism is a trick of semantics to lump all Jews together so that the Zionists cannot be blamed for what the Zionists have done. Okay, 100% of Palestinians are Semitic, but only about 20% of the people in Israel are Semitic. See how this gets really iffy and wishy-washy, all right? And so when somebody starts throwing around that anti-Semite label, they're playing the divide and conquer game, because it's just not that simple. What Zionism teaches about behavior is not what Torah Jews teach about behavior, is not what Talmud Jews teach about behavior. They're very discrete, and you can't lump them together. And the Torah Jews don't do what the Talmud Jews do, and the Talmud Jews don't do what the Zionists do. So anti-Semitism is a label only intended to incite divisions. That's all it's intended to do, just by the use of that inaccurate label. That's bothered me for a long time. All right, so I'm backing away a little, since Facebook has chopped off my Emily Elizabeth Windsor Craig page completely, with all of its groups and all of its pages. And so I'm cut back to the Maureen page, so I do very little there. And you'll see me on Twitter, Emily Craig, just plain old there. Actually, the screen name there is Go Direct, GODIRECT, Go Direct. And then I get kind of accused of being too direct and not tactful enough. So I'm just owning that, if that's okay with everybody. And so the fires are beginning to die down again. But what's next is the insinuation that this false epidemic is not going away, and that we need to wear these things and stand 6 feet apart and stay shut down. That's merely a tactic to overthrow the November election and keep people away from the polls and force voting onto the post office, which it's not competent to handle or unwilling to handle. It's run by the postal union that is on the side of the deep state. So we're in interesting times. We're just going to have to roll with it. And I thought I would point out to my audience who happen to be Christians that if you happen to have the background of witchcraft, okay, in your background, as I do, there are aspects of it that are not predictive, not harmful. Don't take advantage of anybody. I don't know if you noticed, but I always have a pendulum because my last name is Craig, and that's a stone. And I'm so stone-like, I don't feel anything. So the pendulum allows me and helps me to sense my own feelings when I'm unsure. Okay. And there are practices I learned from witchcraft in hygiene and bathing that keep me healthy, that the medical profession doesn't talk about, and even the health sciences don't talk about. There are practices I learned as a witch, which I haven't let go of because they help me. They help me and they help other people. And so, because Jesus said we can talk to anybody, even Samaritans and centurions and tax collectors, we can even talk to the people who are Satanists and Luciferians and discuss issues with them in accord with principles of negotiation and conflict resolution. Okay, we are free to be who we are as Christians, even if in the past what we were was condemned. And I found that to be a comforting thought today. Yeah, it's nice to have a conversation with God. He generally finds a way to straighten things out for you. Okay, all right. This has been Emily Craig, and subscribe if you want to hear more and tinkle on the bell, and we'll see you when we see you. Thanks for coming by. Bye-bye.